I'm telling you, that countdown every time. Nothing gets the adrenaline flowing like a 5-second countdown that says you are now live on the internet. And hello there, early arrivers. Thanks for being here. We are just going to give it, 1 minute to make sure that everybody who doesn't want to miss a thing is here right on time or close to on time, because you guys were on time. So everyone, virtual gold star for being here on time. Just wait a minute, and we'll do a quick little mic check here. Mary Grace Wilson, is your camera working? Is your mic working? Can we see you? Are you there?
I think we're here.
Wait, there. Say words. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh my God, it works. Okay. Let's see. Lauren Finnegan. Let's get a camera check, mic check real quick.
Hello.
You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound great. Awesome. Let's see if Katie Simon's working. Katie, are you there? Hey, Katie, can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Can we hear? Yes, I can hear. Okay, perfect. Ooh. We have technology working for us, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? So my name is Jason Stum. I'm the Director of Strategy at Dealer Inspire. And I'm really excited today because we are going to shine some light on your service department and show you how you can upgrade your fixed ops marketing game to win customers in 2020. Now, if you're only meeting us at Dealer Inspire for first or the second time, we are 600 passionate employees on a mission to future-proof dealerships with one connected platform that sells and services more vehicles more efficiently. And today we're here to focus on how you can utilize a connected marketing strategy to give your fixed operations that same kind of marketing love that your variable operations has always enjoyed. As we go along here through the presentation, feel free to drop in any kind of questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer those along the way. Now, so you might be wondering, all right, Jason, why do I need to shift my focus of marketing to fixed operations? Why now? Well, to be honest, in general, fixed ops has always been underserved when it comes to digital marketing. So that imbalance, if you will, between sales and service, that's really nothing new. However, due to dealers historically not paying the same amount of digital attention to service as they do sales, combined with the immediate and long-term impacts of COVID-19, that gap between you and your service competition, it's wider than ever, and it's growing. And look, the competition for service market share, it's always been high, but make no mistake, your esteemed same brand competitors, that's not your service competition. This is your service competition. Every day you're going head to head against Drive Up Oil Change Places, National Service Change, other independent service providers, and they're everywhere. You are literally surrounded by these types of places. And look, spoilers, right? Because a lot of dealerships and marketing agencies don't focus on fixed ops. The competition has been able to outmarket you for years, mostly because they don't have a fragmented focus between variable and fixed ops. I mean, Mr. Obvious right here, right? But that big box service center that's down the road or even across the street from you, they're able to focus every single marketing dollar on driving their service business because service is all they do. So right off the top, that competition has an unfair advantage over you, and it's been that way pretty much forever. And then COVID-19 began unfolding. And of course, everyone was affected by the global pandemic, and we still are to a certain respect. And the automotive retail industry, especially so. Dealer, vendor, consultant, manufacturer, supplier, it really doesn't matter which one of those you are, what piece of the puzzle you fill in our industry. If you were in it, you felt that impact in a very real way. And, and aside from that immediate impact, there's also kind of this longer term impact that we have to be cognizant of. And maybe you're not even thinking about right now. So I think it's worth mentioning here is that they're already predicting in 2020, there would be a 26% decline in new car sales this year. So I know you didn't come here to do math, and believe me, I'm not the guy you want to do in math either, but luckily I had my TI-86 to help me out on this one. So the average new car dealer in 2019 sold 1,026 vehicles. Well, if we take away 26% of that we're expected to lose this year in 2020, that's 267 fewer opportunities to retain sales customers in your service department. Now, of course, your opportunity cost might be higher, it might be lower, but subtract 26% from what you delivered last year, and that's what you're looking to make up in terms of opportunity to retain sales to service. But it's not just those numbers of post-sales to service opportunities that you missed out on, right? It's all the other things, all the other revenue streams that your service department is going to be affected by this that you may not be thinking of. Things like fewer new car sales means fewer trade-ins. Fewer trade-ins means fewer reconditioning dollars that your service department is going to charge to the used car department. Fewer new car sales means there's going to be less amount of warranty work that's compounded over time because you're not delivering as many vehicles. Also, those, the pre-delivery inspections. If your service department is charging those labor hours to new cars, then again, that's revenue that you're just missing out on, in addition to the 26% fewer sales, in addition to what we missed out on since March. And so look, let's revisit our competition here real quick, because I want to make this clear. Is this slide that I showed earlier in the presentation here? Oops. This is your service competition. And they are running ads right now. So while they might have scaled things back in March, April, and May, we did not have to look too hard a few days ago to get these screenshots and these videos of the ads that all these competitors are running. They are back in the game and they are running hard. And this is right now. And so while that may seem like kind of a dark and scary place, I'm not trying to bring us all down here. I just did think it was important to kind of set the stage, because you might be looking at a tougher uphill climb than you initially imagined. But, silver lining here. I'm a rainbows and puppy dog kisses kind of guy. Just because we've got some challenging times, that doesn't mean we can't overcome those obstacles by learning a few new tricks, right? I mean, isn't that why you showed up today? Because you're looking for an edge to your service department. So let's not let anything like the facts deter us from getting this done, because we got this. But, let's refocus here, okay? For those who don't want that dark cloud hanging over your head, let's just cleanse our middle palate. Let's just, give it a break. Let's get into a positive mind space. I mean, look at this adorable cuteness right here. Oh my God. How can that not put you in a good mood? Deep breath. Hold it for a second. Let all that bad stuff out. Actually, that was just more for me. I got a lot of pin-up anxiety right now. This is more for me than it is for you guys, but still enjoy the cuteness. Okay, so let's get to it. So the pre-COVID environment, just kind of want to take a quick overview of what a service department, a go-to-market might have looked like, right? You would put your service specials on your website. You would send out monthly email blasts with your service coupons. Maybe you drop a direct mail piece once a quarter. Of course, the OEM is going to kick in with their own emails and direct mail campaigns. And then you got that sales to service handoff. And a lot of times that was enough. A service director or fixed ops director can look out their window. They can see all their bays full. They can see the right technicians doing the right kind of jobs. Good to go. Why do I need to do anything else? And when we talk about a new plan for fixed ops here in 2020 to make up for that gap and to keep your business going forward, we're not suggesting that the old way, if you will, or the pre-COVID way was bad, right? It was effective. We're just saying we got to step things up a little bit of a notch here. And so in today's environment, when we're dealing with this fallout and trying to play catch up to the competition who's already marketing on all cylinders, we can't deny the fact that it's more challenging than ever to keep your service base full, and we're going to need to do more. So remember, the big box service places, they're winning the marketing game because that's all they do. At your dealership, you have multiple businesses within your business, but if you start treating your fixed ops department like a separate entity, then you'll not just be competing with the big boys, you'll be overtaking them in the long run. And we have the plan here today that we're going to share with you, where we're going to cover how you can do this, how you can showcase your stars, optimize your website, dominate the SERP, own the inbox, and win the mind share. And remember, I know this is all about service, but this is also going to help sales too, right? We're going to get those other trickle-down effects from more cars through your service lane. It's going to give you more opportunities to upsell into new vehicles as well. So it does work for everybody. So that is good to know. And I'm about out of words. That's about as much as I can talk. So we do have 3 experts here who are going to take us through the rest of the presentation here for the most part. And I want to turn my camera off here and bring them all on so they can get the screen time they deserve. So we have Performance Manager of Major Accounts. We have Lauren Finnegan, Senior Digital Advertising Specialist, and Mary Grace Wilson, our SEO Director. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey. Hello.
Yes, don't turn your cameras off yet. I was saying hi. Well, thank all 3 of you for being here. It is super duper appreciated. You guys excited?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Katie Simon, are you ready to get this rolling?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Take it away, Katie.
Thanks, Jason. All right. So when it comes to giving your service department the marketing love it deserves, there are just a couple things you need to look at before, making that commitment to go seek out all those service shoppers online through your digital advertising. So we're going to talk about that. One of the most important things to understand is how reviews are going to play a huge part in service shoppers choosing your dealership as their preferred place to take their vehicle. So through data, we know that about 97% of consumers are going to use those reviews to make that decision. So of course, it's critical that you set up yourself up for success for gathering those reviews where they're going to be seen the most. So most dealerships have their sales and their service reviews mixed in all together, which, truth be told, makes it super difficult for service customers to find the validation they need in order to choose you. But due to some recent updates from Google, you now have the awesome opportunity to generate reviews specifically for your service department on a separate Google My Business listing. And aside from reviews, the GMB that's dedicated to your service department is going to play a big role in your overall presence in the search results. And later in this webinar, it's awesome. We're going to give you the step-by-step tutorial on how to claim and, more importantly, optimize the listing for your service department. So there's this saying that goes something like this. All dealerships are the same, except for the people. And it really is true. You know, what makes your service department different from the one down the road? You guys all have the same tools, capabilities, general capacity, and so on. But it's your people who are going to make the difference in taking a satisfactory service experience and turning it into, you know, the best dang service experience ever. So with the DealerRater platform, you can give your people the recognition they deserve, just because, unlike Google and other review sites where you just get your business reviewed, customers can rate the specific people that they interacted with in your service department too, which will help establish to other consumers, as we just talked about, that your crew is the service crew that will provide the ultimate ownership experience. Okay, and one final note about reviews. So your dealership still may be in the process of getting back up to operational speed. And while you recognize, after we've gone through this, that reviews are super important, you just might not have the time or resources to dedicate to your online reputation. And if that sounds a lot like you, I will say that our cousins over at DealerRater have some wonderful solutions, including Review Builder, which can automate the review gathering process and intelligently distribute those reviews across DealerRater, Google, and also Facebook. All right, are we feeling good about reviews?
Hey, Katie, if I could leave a review on webinarrater.net for you, I would give you 12 stars.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're doing great.
Let's make it 13. Okay, so now that we're feeling good about reviews, let's talk about what you can do for your website to make sure it's ready to convert that fresh new service traffic and give you the edge you need to make your experience shine. All right, so the first rule of digital marketing is to make sure your website is prepared to handle the traffic that you'll be driving to it. And quite honestly, this is something a lot of small businesses, not just talking dealerships, that they miss. I mean, in your excitement to rev up your web traffic, you fail to take the first crucial step of visualizing what the post-ad click experience will be for the customer and if it can be improved upon. All right, so for example, when running search ad campaigns for specific services, such as, we do this all the time, oil change, brakes, tires, what have you, you want to drive users to a specific landing page related to that service. I mean, dropping people on your general service page or your home page will only lead to a disconnected experience and also a wasted budget, and nobody wants to waste those dollar bills. So that's heartbreaking. The reality is the more times you make someone click or tap, the less likely they'll be to convert. So it's imperative that your landing page completely aligns with your ad copy and includes all the related information, along with easy to access CTAs that will generate a conversion, such as chat, click to call, or even schedule service. So service is half of your business, right? So why dedicate your entire homepage to your sales department? Service should be more than just like a little footnote at the bottom of the homepage or a link in your navigation. Make sure your scheduled service CTA is visible on mobile within the first swipe of the homepage. Step one. Also, don't be shy about dedicating some real estate on that homepage or early in your homepage slider stack to call out your service specials or your main service department landing page. So if you're still operating under specific COVID-19 safety protocols as well, you'll want to make sure that that's called out. All right, so a lot of dealerships have adopted that home pickup and return delivery for customers that live within a certain radius of their dealership. That's a great strategy. Love it. And while that is a great message to place on that homepage, you don't necessarily want people outside of that range to be able to see it. Now, this is really cool. Using Dealer Inspire's personalizer tool, you can create specific messages that only appear to visitors who are located within a specific geo target that you define. And these personalized experiences are super, super powerful. With the DI platform, you have the ability to create these on your own. So you don't need us, or you don't need to have coding skills to be able to set this up, which is awesome. And for current DI clients joining us today, hey fam, we have some great tutorials, as you probably already know, on how to get the most out of Personalizer over on our training portal at training.dealerinspire.com. All right, so one of the most searched service-related terms are related to your service specials and coupons. But the days of expecting your customers to actually go and print out your service coupons are fading fast. On the Dealer Inspire platform, you can create service specials that your website visitors can download directly to Apple Wallet.
Android too. Got to represent my Android peeps.
Thanks, Jason. Nice. And if that wasn't cool enough, the best part is you can actually code those wallet coupons with the specific geofence, kind of like what we talked about earlier. So that way, when a person has their coupon downloaded to their phone and they enter that specific geofence area, they're going to get a push notification right on their home screen, reminding them that they have that coupon. And it's a great way for not only your customers to download that coupon, but to actually use it. Come on in. It's a reminder. Hey, you got that oil change special? Come on in today. So let's talk about this. So chat isn't just a tool for sales or for lead gen. If half of your dealership's business is generated within fixed ops, why not use the technology already in place to make your service operations more efficient for both you and your customers? So here's a hashtag pro tip for you. Hashtag. If you want to make the most out of every single service-related chat you get and schedule more appointments, bring your chat in-house. And that's not to suggest that you need somebody, from your team sitting in front of a computer answering chats 24/7. But you can take a hybrid approach to this and have someone from your team handle incoming chats during business hours, and then have our managed chat team, there as your backup during non-business hours, or when, all of your in-house chat agents are even tied up.
Yeah, and I'll just jump right in here, Katie. Two things real quick. One, is that you in this GIF?
It might be. I might have.
I didn't realize you were a technician before you joined the team. Here.
I wear many hats.
You do. And I will say, just to touch on that point a little bit about bringing that service chat in-house and kind of taking a hybrid approach to how you manage that.
Yeah.
We've been seeing that through, COVID. Chat is being utilized more often than it was prior to this. And a lot of those chats are service related. And when somebody is messaging you through your website chat and they have a service question, they're looking for an answer now. So being able to provide that answer now, get that person the information they need, get that appointment set, it's just going to lead to, like Katie said, a more efficient process. So definitely something you want to keep in your mind there to implement with your dealership.
Gotta love those pro tips.
Take it away.
Gotta love those pro tips.
Now, if we only had a pro. All right. No, you're the pro. Let's go.
How dare you? All right. And not to go off on a tangent here, but our messaging platform Conversations has a built-in SMS and video feature that will really allow you to take your customer service to the next level. So it's not just messaging. So with fewer people being able or willing to wait in your service lounge, staying in touch with them remotely is more important than ever. So I want you to imagine this scenario. Probably happens all the time. A customer is in and they're there for an oil change and a tire rotation. But as your tech is performing that job, he notices that all 4 tires has like a super low tread depth, and it's time for a whole new set of tires. So instead of calling the customer to get that approval and talk through that, you could just shoot them a video right on their phone of the actual tread depth and then text it to the customer along with the cost of the set of 4 new tires, thus getting them to see the actual problem itself, letting them see that, and then getting them to immediately reply with that go ahead to install those new tires. So super awesome. Great customer experience as well. All right. And lastly, as a hashtag extra special bonus pro tip, and I want you to use that hashtag. It's a doozy. I love it. You can use Conversations to connect your customers directly to your service department in their car, because your Conversations installation comes with a dedicated SMS text number. So what that means, it allows you to connect your customers' Apple CarPlay or Android Auto compatible infotainment system, and they'll be able to use their voice actually to send you a text, which you can respond right from Conversations within the back end. So pretty cool stuff.
That is pretty cool stuff. And, you guys can actually make that a part of your delivery process when you're, getting your customer all set up and you're showing them the vehicle. Just get your service department's phone number program right in their phone, show them how they can contact you using Siri in the car or Messenger, a Siri, Android guy, Android too, and, have conversation with your dealership right in there from the car. So Katie, you crushed it.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Broken down reviews and how our viewers can prepare their platforms and processes for success. You are the best. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, now we need to focus our attention to total SERP domination. Asian. I was really looking for some audio effects there. So if you ever asked someone on your team or at your agency, or maybe you're a marketing manager and someone from your team asks you this question, it can always be a little bit awkward. But when you're asked, hey, how come when I search for tires near me in Google, our dealership doesn't show up? Well, if that's happened to you, then that's probably an idea that you have a lack of coverage in both the paid and organic search results that are preventing your dealership from being found. Now, listen, gone are the days of choosing to invest in either a paid or an organic search strategy. It's not an either or situation anymore. You really 100% need to focus on both paid and organic to maximize your presence and your revenue. And when it comes to Google, there are 3 places where you can show up first for the exact same search query on the same page of results. And we're going to start breaking this down. So let's bring in Lauren Finnegan, our senior digital advertising specialist, to smarten us all up. Come on, Lauren, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jason. How are you?
I am amazing. All right, take it away. Show us what you got.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. So setting up service campaigns on Google is super easy to do with your current digital strategy. And there are a few best practices we can incorporate to just increase the success rate of your ads. So including a competitive offer with urgency to be able to show the customer a potential ad or potential offer and show them a relevant landing page that includes this offer. Also personalizing with a call extension that has your service department's phone number. Google allows us to be able to change up which extension we use based on whether it's a sales ad or a service ad. So especially if your phone numbers are different, this is a great way to optimize the call extensions in your Google Ads account. Also adding service-specific extensions like site links, callouts, structured snippets, and even using that location Google My Business for your service page that Katie mentioned earlier. Just further peeks into what your service catalog is and just further optimizes your service ads. One of the biggest opportunities in search advertising is expanding your reach into Bing. So you can advertise the same keywords and same ad copy you do on Google, but hit 127 million unique users on Bing. 6.4 billion monthly searches are happening in the US on Bing, and it accounts for about 36.9% of your PC market share. On average, your service terms advertised on Bing see about a 65% lower cost per click than on Google, meaning just increased opportunities for your ads to show up. Bing has a lot of the same capabilities as Google, like using those ad extensions to pretty up your ads. But Bing has an extra special extension called the Action extension that just takes it to the next level. What this does is it gives a button on the advertisement, which is shown right on your screen there. And you can use this button to add an additional link to your website for a user to schedule service on. This Action extension has different calls to action that we can use, such as book, schedule, reserve. The list goes on and on. If you're not running any dig ad campaigns right now geared towards service, the easiest place to start and make an immediate impact is by using queries that include your OEM's name. So things like Toyota oil change or Toyota service specials, so on and so forth. These terms tend to hit a lower funnel audience and result in a lower cost per click, as opposed to broader search terms like oil change, tire rotation, brake repair. We see that this averages about a 14% higher cost per click when we're using these general terms, as opposed to the more specific OEM-based terms. So owning your backyard right off the bat is super easy. Once you own your backyard with the OEM terms, then you can expand and use those more general terms just to generate more traffic in your own backyard. With the campaign structure illustrated on that slide, let's now see how we can increase our keyword bids based on the intent of a search. Using Dealer Inspire's Fuel platform, we're able to set bid adjustments on queries that we deem to be higher intent. So if you look at the diagram on the right, you see that oil change is listed as the highest in the funnel, meaning that it's the highest funnel, lowest intent. Then when a user adds in the vehicle make, we increase bids as the keyword implies a higher intent. We continue to increase the bids on keywords with the model and city name included in the term. And when the keyword has the make, model, service, and city, that's deemed to have the highest intent since it's the most likely to convert. The modifiers we add in search, the longer tail the search query is. When we bid up on these longer tail terms, we generally see lower competition, which just maximizes your ROI on your service campaigns. Once your keyword strategy is in place, now let's tackle your geographic targeting. At Dealer Inspire, we use Fuel to layer in your service customer base over your current geo target. With having your customer base zip codes, we can map out where your service customers reside in relation to your dealership. We can confirm areas where we should be more aggressive because your customers are more likely to reside there. We then can also take away pieces of your geo-target or bid down and less aggressively in areas where your service customers are less likely to reside and schedule appointments. Another great strategy for geographic targeting is tailoring your map to the service you're providing. If you're offering both express service and home delivery, you don't want to use the same geo-target for both of those pieces. So with the example on the right, for express service, we have about a 5-mile radius around the dealership, since those customers are more likely to be wanting to get in, get out quickly, and get their service done as soon as possible. Whereas with the home delivery piece, we do have that 5-mile radius that maybe we'll bid up on. But we also have zip codes that encompass about a 20-mile radius around your dealership. This allows for those customers who maybe aren't comfortable sitting in your service bay yet and want to have you come pick up their vehicle, come bring it in for service, and then bring it back to your house if that's a service you offer. We can also add in additional bid adjustments in certain locations to just further allow you to dominate your backyard with service. Along with geographic prioritization, it's also important that we don't treat every single searcher the same. So by layering in an email list of potential or previous customers, we can bid up on these customers to ensure we're serving in the first position and also serve hyper-targeted ads to a relevant service audience. So bidding up on returning customers typically results in about $1 less cost per click. And we're more likely to show up in the first position, actually like 22% more of the time, as opposed to times when we don't use these matchback audiences. If you look at the ad toward the bottom of the screen, you can see how we can tailor ad copy based on a customer list. For example, this customer is one who purchased a Mercedes-Benz vehicle at your dealership and it's about time for them to schedule their service B. So we're able to push an aggressive offer for them to come into the dealership and schedule their appointment right away.
Yeah, and hey, Lauren, I just want to jump in here real quick to add that this is really important, and just want to make sure everyone's taking note of this. Most dealerships, probably your dealership, to you guys out there, I'm guessing that service retention is one of your health metrics, right? You always want to know how many of those sales customers are you retaining in your service department. And this is just a great tactic that you can implement into your fixed op strategy. And we're going to talk more about it later somewhere else. But to make sure that the customers you already have, that you're staying, at the top of their mind throughout. And you can do it for cheaper and you can show up higher, right?
Precisely. Exactly. All of these pieces come together for a nice little fixed ops puzzle that we're putting together. Exactly. You got it.
I know what puzzles are. Sorry. Continue, Lauren.
No prob. So furthermore, we can focus on remarketing to users who have previously visited your website and specifically your service pages to tailor our service ads to those users. We're able to segment our audiences based on these previous visits and bid up on these potential customers, as they're more likely to convert since they're already familiar with your brand. We're also able to potentially show them a more aggressive offer, as opposed to our maybe more in-market customers who aren't familiar with your brand, and maybe we put just a little bit less of an aggressive offer for those customers. Now that we've walked through all of the ways you can target your service campaigns, let's look at this in practice. So let's say, given the information you have a customer who purchased a car at your dealership about 6 months ago and is also a previous visitor to your service website. And now they're searching for a Lexus oil change on Google. Knowing these signals, we can bid more aggressively on search, adding bid adjustments based on this user because they show higher intent and a higher probability of converting on your site. Now let's add in geographic area. Let's say they're located within 5 miles of the dealership. We're able to bid more aggressively on this user. And again, this user is more likely to convert. Let's get even further down the funnel. The user is now searching for a Lexus ES350 oil change special in Naperville. This user has added the model, service, and city to the search query. These additional pieces show the customer is looking for a hyper-specific service that you provide. And you know that they're a returning customer because they purchased a vehicle 6 months ago. So we can deliver them a super specific ad tailored exactly to what they're looking for. So with the example we're about to pop up on the screen, you can see that you offer a 5,000 mile maintenance or whatever your customer normally does within 6 months of purchasing their vehicle, the specific model the user is looking for, the service the user is looking for, and showcasing your service center as the best place for them to receive that service. Remember when Katie was talking earlier about how important it is to hook up the virtual wallet with your service coupons? You can add in site link extensions to your ad to be able to drive customers directly to those coupons and easily add them to their digital wallet for future reference. This seamless integration allows for a user to go from searching the service center to having the coupon in their wallet within only 2 clicks on their smartphone. While competition can be heavy in the service campaigns, this is ample opportunity for solid ROI to be gained from these additional pieces of your digital advertising strategy. We see that a lower average cost per click when we're running a service ad compared to when we're running a new make and model search. Service ads see about an average of a $4.88 cost per click, while new model searches tend to run a little bit higher at the $5.26 mark. Service campaigns also see about a 28% conversion rate on average for these ads. That means that 28% of the time, someone is clicking on the ad and then either calling your dealership to schedule their appointment or filling out the schedule service form on your website. That's awesome, in my opinion. This is a great way to show that digital advertising for your service department and service keywords is a great supplement to your dealership's digital advertising strategy. Joining the paid search game is a little daunting at times, especially for service. But with the right efficiencies and the right targeting strategies, all the pieces fit nicely together in that big service jigsaw puzzle we were just talking about, and just delivers a quality return on investment for your digital advertising.
And not to go all infomercial guy on you, I guess, but it's probably too late for that. Did you say service campaigns can be more effective from a conversion standpoint and cost less than a new vehicle query?
It's a very efficient piece of the puzzle. You obviously want to make sure you're still covering off on your bases, keeping your core in mind, keeping your vehicle focus in mind, but especially to give your service office that little bit of a boost they might need, it's a great way to be efficient when you're using all the different targeting pieces of the puzzle.
Makes sense.
So as we transition from the paid results to the local map pack and organic search results, it's worth noting that you can show up in the local search ads on Google Maps and the Google Map Pack. So these ads are super easy to set up, and all you need is to have your location extension working in Google Ads, which basically just means hooking up your Google My Business page to your Google Ads account. This ad shows up in the top spot on the Map Pack, but the rest of the results that come in are organic. And location extensions are a great way to hit the top of the pack, but to maximize your opportunity to show up organically, you need to step up your local SEO game. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our SEO director, Mary Grace Wilson.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, MG.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You ready to keep it rolling? We're cruising.
Yeah, let's talk about some organic stuff. You want to?
Let's do it.
All right. So as if the ad wasn't enough for local searches, the next thing that the user is going to come to is called the Map Pack. And guys, SERPs have gotten pretty complicated. Trust me, I know. So if you're not totally familiar with what we're talking about when we say Map Pack, just want to clarify it. It's the map result that you see whenever you do a search where the intent is to go find a thing in a specific area. So, in our case, it could be a user searching for something like car dealers near me, or even something without that near me word in it. It could be where to get an oil change. So what shows in the map pack is a result of 3 main things, and a couple of those you can control. One of them you really can't. So I want to first take a quick second and clarify how that works, because I know it's a source of frustration. So the first thing that controls the map pack and local results is relevance. What is relevance? It's the question that search engines ask, which is, how well does your web presence match what the user is actually looking for? So from a search engine perspective, a site that's actually dedicated to oil changes with like lots of service content, that's going to be seen as more relevant than a site with a single service page. Check your website. Google also looks at how your Google My Business has been optimized when considering relevancy. And, do you have a Google My Business period that actually talks about service? So attributes and categories and services and products, all of those things that you can set up in Google My Business helps Google make that connection as to if you are relevant for that user's service-related query. So the next piece is distance, and this one causes a lot of frustration for everyone except the user. So basically me and you, and it's a really powerful factor. Google considers the location that the user is searching from, and they try to show relevant businesses within a specific distance of the user. And then to compound that, typically, the more relevant businesses that there are closer to the user, the smaller the local search bubble gets. So let's say we're in New York, where there are businesses everywhere and people everywhere. Well, in those map packs, there's roughly like 2.67, I know, I can't say about and then say 2.67, but about 2.67 miles between the businesses that are shown in the map pack on average. Whereas in Houston, which is much more sprawl, there's closer to like 8 miles between the businesses. So it's not even consistent city to city with what businesses and what location proximity you have within the map pack. But an update that happened last year, I think in November of 2019, made that location element like basically the most important of these 3. So finally, the last one, prominence. Now we're back in the area that I like, because these are things that I can help you influence. This is Google looking at how well known your business is and taking into consideration factors like backlinks and mentions on the web, reviews, review count, organic position, and citations. Okay, moving on. So since you actually can influence relevance and prominence, let's talk through how to do that. First, you need your GMB or your Google My Business profile to be fully optimized. So, all right, chances are you've heard us or any number of other experts in the field talking about Google My Business and its importance. And some of you are probably ready to zone out because you're tired of hearing about it. But guys, there is a reason we harp on it so much. It really matters. So if you already have a service listing for your Google My Business, then just take the next few points as a checklist reference and make sure you're getting the most out of this. If you don't, this is a great opportunity. Take some notes, make sure you're following these rules when you do set it up. First thing, set it up. We like to start with the basics. Just go in and create your Google My Business service and parts listing. We can send out the link after this webinar where Google does a really great step-by-step walkthrough of exactly how to list it. At DI, we typically recommend that you have a listing for your sales center. That's going to be your main GMB listing. And then we like to see a separate listing for your parts and service center together. And then another listing for your body shop or your collision center if you have one. That being said, there are other places that recommend that both your parts and service centers have separate listings. And honestly, at this point, it's really whatever floats your boat. We do them together because they typically occupy the same real estate inside your business. So they make sense to have a listing together. But if you have a different strategy in mind, that's totally cool. Our biggest goal is that you don't neglect them. Excuse me. So next, when you're setting them up, you're going to want to use each department's correct and independent NAP and hours. NAP, yet another acronym for all of us to remember, but basically all it means is name, address, and phone number. And honestly, it's just something that reminds you, hey, keep all of the independent information about the business correct and consistent. You're going to want to make sure that when you're setting, like, for instance, the URL, that you're not just putting your homepage URL, you would put your service center URL. So like dealername.com/service would be what you put in the website URL field on your service center, Google My Business. Same thing for your phone number, right? You have a separate phone number that rings to your service center. Use that phone number, not your sales service number. All right, cool. got all the consistent stuff, you've set it up, it's rocking and rolling. Now, next thing we want you to do is use UTM codes. You're going to put them on your website link, your appointment link, and the menu URLs all in your GMB service profile. And if you're not sure how to set up a UTM code, then you can use the campaign URL builder from Google because it makes it really, really easy. We suggest that your campaign source would be Google because they're coming to you from Google. The medium would be organic because they're finding you on the SERP. And then your campaign would be GMB or Google My Business if you want to. But really what you're doing is setting this up and then appending it to the end of your URL so that when you go into analytics, you can actually track how much traffic is coming back to your website from these particular campaigns, which means that you can make informed decisions about how you're going to continue to optimize and utilize your GMB. Okay, now, photos. This is one that we have to get dealers to take a little bit more seriously. Because I feel like what happens a lot of time is that people feel like they need a professional photographer to come in and take like beautiful, amazing, magazine-worthy photos of their service center, which is notoriously going to be messy unless you're like really on top of it, which if you could see my house, you'd see that that is not my lifestyle. So I expect a service center to be really messy, but that's okay. Don't feel like you have to go overboard cleaning up your service center and making everything look perfect before you could possibly get photos of your service center on your GMB. Take it as it is. I mean, you obviously want them to be pictures that you can be proud of and that you feel comfortable with, but you don't need to bring in a professional to do some elegant photo sheet. Just get something up there that represents you well. You're going to want to get interior photos, exterior photos, get staff photos. Whatever you've got is going to make a big difference. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, set your categories and products and services up. So these are really important when we're talking about relevancy. You don't want your service and parts Google My Business to have overlapping categories with your sales center Google My Business. So what I mean is, car dealer is a category that you would put on your sales listing. But now, if you have that on your sales listing, you don't want to also use that on your service listing because it's a conflict. The other thing you don't want to do is be spamming. Sometimes we're tempted and we're like, all the words, every word, but don't do that. It's too much. Keep it simple. Use the categories that describe you the most and the best. Next, drop down to your products tab and consider putting in your parts offering. So again, this is assuming you have a combined service and parts listing, but put photos and names and prices and descriptions because all of those fields are available and you can fill that in for the different kinds of parts that you offer. And they're really good about showing, what fields are required and not required. So it's not like you have to go overboard and spend a ton of time, filling out this detailed products list. But number one, it shows Google, what you actually have available. So if somebody is looking for windshield wipers and they see that that's a product that you offer and you have strong reviews and strong relevance and strong proximity, why wouldn't they show you as a result for someone looking for windshield wipers? Similarly, if you go to the service tab, that's going to populate with the categories that you selected, but you can further enhance them by supplying specific information around the services for those categories. So fill it out, basically. Fill out everything. Avoid clicking that give me my free website button. You'll see it. It's going to prompt you about it. Just ignore it. Don't touch it. Once all that's set up, we've done all the legwork. Now we're going to move into the actual important piece, which is maintaining and bolstering your Google My Business presence. So remember how we said a few minutes ago that reviews count? Well, so do keywords inside of your reviews. You've probably seen this if you do a search and you say like, great oil changes near me, and then you see the map pack. A lot of times what you'll see is under the listing, it'll have a few keywords from the reviews that clients have left saying like, oh, oil change was great. And it's going to pull a snippet of that review out in the map pack result. So if you have reviews that match, it's going to help bolster the fact that you are a good, relevant source of information for the query. So try to encourage your consumers when they're leaving reviews to be really specific. And I know that can be a little bit of an awkward conversation to have, but it's way more helpful if a review says, the oil change and tire rotation services that I received at example dealer were excellent, instead of just something like great service. Both are good, but the fact that they're calling out specific services that they had with you is going to go a long way. Most dealers are pretty good at this, but I want to quickly say it's also very important that you respond to reviews that are left on your GMB to show that you are engaged with the public. Respond to the good ones and the bad ones, and do it quickly. Don't let a couple months go by or even a couple weeks go by. Have somebody go in and check it every week. Just stay on top of it. And while you're checking your reviews, also keep a really close eye on questions left by your customers in the Q&A section. During COVID, the Q&A didn't show up. It went away. It is back. So if you have that information, or if you didn't have that information, now you do. But also remember that you don't access the Q&A from the back end of Google My Business. You need to go in through the front. So go to the SERP, find your Google My Business, and then you'll see the Q&A panel. Make sure you're actually logged in with the account that you're managing, your Google My Business address, so that you can respond as the owner. Read through the questions and give helpful, useful responses to whatever they've asked. Finally, leverage Google Posts. Everybody's familiar with them at this point, but definitely make sure that on your service listing GMB, you are highlighting service offers and highlighting service staff members and events that you're attending and participating in and supporting. All of those help users see that you're engaged in the community and help them feel confident about you and the business that you're running. And especially with offers, you're going to see great click-through rate as people say, oh, you know what? I could use an oil change in it for that price. I'm going in today. Make sure that when you set the links on those posts, that you also use UTM codes. Again, it's all about tracking to make informed decisions going forward. Okay. Enough about Google My Business. I think we've harped on you to death.
AMG, just to pause there real quick while you've been given that sweet breakdown. There have been a couple questions in the chat. So I'm thinking after you get through our SEO content here and turn the mic back over, maybe you can dive in there and take a look.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, anybody that has a question about GMB, I'm more than happy. Just throw it in the chat. We'll talk through it. Or, anything SEO. I like to geek out, so drop me your questions. Okay, so moving on past that, you might be thinking to yourself after the really excellent digital advertising presentation we got, that if mobile traffic accounts for 70% of web traffic and Google Ads and the Map Pack take up so much real estate, which they do, especially on mobile, then why would I also invest in SEO strategy for my website? Like, can't I just pay for that real estate? And honestly, it's a totally fair question to ask. And again, there was probably a point in time when you would have to choose. And then, the DigAd team and my team would go head to head and duke it out. But when it comes down to it, we're not in those days. I do want a visual one day of like Kara and I going at it that we can use. I feel like we could assign that to someone and it would go over quite well. But when it comes down to it, fighting aside, a comprehensive SEO strategy is going to pair well with your paid search efforts so that you can really maximize exposure because, number one, Google Ads account for less than 5% of your search clicks. If you don't believe me, go into analytics and look at your channel overview and see where most of your traffic is coming from. Even with really robust ad spends, you're going to see a large portion of your site traffic coming from organic. Number two, organic results can't run out of budget. So especially if you think back to COVID times, anybody that was investing in a solid SEO strategy continued to see returns on that investment even after they turned dollars off for digital advertising because SEO pays out over months and weeks and years. Number three, it drives more consistent long-term traffic. 4, it improves the visibility and brand awareness of your dealership. And 5, it actually builds an entire pipeline for you. It's not just about the people that are ready to convert. It's about putting you top of mind everywhere else in the funnel. And that's going to work for your sales listing. It's also going to work for your service listing. So because of its placement and that it features both paid and organic listings, the Map Pack acts as a bridge from paid ads to the organic results. And while running Google Ads and setting up your service department's GMB listing are pretty straightforward, cracking the first page of organic search results for service-related queries is a little more daunting and requires a higher level of expertise. So how do you do it? Let's throw it in. Well, it really all starts with understanding how people are actually searching. So here we have some of the most commonly searched for terms that return an ad and a map pack and a local organic result. And again, you might see slightly different results depending on where you're searching from. But if you basically just have a single landing page that just lists all of these services, it's not going to be enough or useful enough for people or search engines to understand that you're a qualified result for that query. You're going to need to implement a content strategy that's actually optimized to allow your dealership to be the most useful and relevant answer to these questions. So, excuse me, when you think about service content, I find that it helps to visualize the structure. Of course, you already have the main service landing page. This is what everybody has. But oftentimes what we see dealers say is, why am I not ranking for oil changes near me? And when we go look at their website, only place on their website where they're talking about oil changes is on that one page. And there's like 4 words about it. We have oil changes, or like a paragraph maybe. And we're like, well, it's something. But truly, is that enough to show that you are relevant for that search? Probably not. So what I like to see our clients do is from that main service page, start to create content lanes that are specific to your highest priority service topics. So for a lot of dealers, that's going to be like brakes, tiles, oil changes, and batteries. You might have slightly different ones, again, depending on your market. But for those service specifics, you're going to want to build out landing pages that contain actually solid information. So think about putting on, a video, obviously have CTAs to schedule service or contact your dealership, start a conversation, perhaps. And it's really common that we find dealers who want to rank for like oil change in city. They don't have that content. When they do have that content, they start to prove that they matter for that topic. And then that's when they start to see those improved conversions. But even having those landing pages alone isn't enough. So just the main page and just a single page about like high level oil changes still isn't enough to prove to a search engine that you are just as relevant for a query as Midas or Bob's oil change repair shop, who has tons of content about that single service topic. So because of that, SEO or good SEO helps you build out a funnel that leads to conversions. So you build out the optimized content strategy that meets consumers where they are. Maybe they're just now wondering about the weird noise that their car is making, or like maybe they're remembering after months of sitting idle that they probably need to relook up their maintenance schedule for their car. Maybe they're wondering if they can change their windshield wipers on their own. Also me, I'm not good at this, guys. I need to visit a dealership. But your site can improve its relevancy to those users like me for top service searches by building out what we call supporting content for the services that you care about. Does it work though? Hell yes. When you have a more robust site with smart architecture and research optimized content, you can get really amazing results that dominate the other dealers and the OEMs and the aggregators and Pep Boys and Midas and everyone. Jason?
You gloss over these stats. This is impressive. This is just 8 pieces of content that we publish for 8 different clients. Can you just talk about a couple of these here real quick?
I'll brag. Absolutely. I don't know if you've met my team, but they're kind of incredible. So I will take all the time you have here to brag. I asked my team to pull a couple of well-performing pages. And truthfully, these KPIs even shocked me as they were coming into me. But we did a piece about what does a car warranty cover? It's gotten 2,542 sessions this year alone. What is Mercedes A and B service? Again, answering those questions that may not be low in the funnel, but are mid or high funnel is going to increase that brand awareness and make sure that they come back to you when they're ready to service right. Well, that's had 5,399 page views this year alone. Hello. What's the warranty on a Honda battery? That page is ranking for 1,400 keywords for one of our clients. 1,400 different. Yes. Oh, yes. Quality content.
So that's great. So just to be clear, when I used to think SEO before I knew any better, SEO to me was some guy in his mom's basement, lights out, hood up, computer on, screen in his face, just SEO. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's what you do, but how many people who are on our SEO team who are making these kind of results happen for our clients?
Yeah, no, it actually is me. This just works to be presented.
You're so modest.
Webinar, but
no, how many people?
We have over 50 specialists between our copywriter team and our specialist team that are working on our accounts. And I think that's another really great thing about us is our copywriter team is in-house. They work for DI. They are living amongst us. And then our specialist team as well. They are here. We do not outsource things. Everybody is in-house. And on top of that, they're quirky, weird, amazing people that do obviously badass work. So.
And that they are.
Yeah.
Yay, MG. Thank you so much. That is crazy results.
I know.
And Just thanks for taking the time to join us here today. Stick around, and I think there are a couple questions for you in the chat if you can have the time to type those in. So just to wrap this section up, to put a nice little bow before we move on here, I know we're running a little bit long, but I'm hoping you're finding this information useful. I'll do my best to stop talking about non-important things right now and keep moving forward. I can only take my own advice and actually do that. So when you implement your ongoing SEO strategy and when you take into account everything we talked about with paid search and the map pack, you can actually achieve what I like to call the trifecta, or the Google Rama, workshopping those. And that is when you show up with your ad in the ads, when you show up with your map pack, GMB listing in the map pack, and of course to have that top organic ranking. That is one way that you can ensure that your business is seen by that person who is doing the searching. So I really don't think you'll find a more comprehensive breakdown of how you dominate the SERP with SEO and SEM. So now let's shift gears a little bit. That's another car pun. There's been like 4 so far if you didn't keep score at home. And talk about something I've been ultra passionate about since I got to the car business about a dozen years ago. And that is email marketing and how you can own the inbox by going beyond the e-blast. So while email has always been this like super powerful tool in your toolbox, to truly drive that service business forward, you need to start thinking beyond that CRM-based email blast, right? Start thinking more about refined email marketing campaigns, because those are different. When COVID began unfolding, our team created like a ton of marketing assets for our clients to freely use as they see fit, including 8 different email campaigns that we were putting together for you that you could use. Some of those are still relevant and you might find them useful. If you head on over to the Dealer Inspire blog, dealerinspire.com/blog, and search for COVID email campaigns, you can actually download them there. Not necessarily fixed ops related, but operational related. But here are a few things you can do to drive that fixed ops traffic with email. Repeat customers are your best customers. You guys know that. So if you want to retain as many service customers as possible, you need to make sure that they're happy when they get their car back. And of course, CSI surveys from your OEM, that is part of the cadence. But if you're not already doing so, consider sending out your own follow-up email once an RO is closed out, and use that opportunity to drive a service-related review to DealerRadarCars.com or that brand new service department GMB listing there, just to make sure you have that robust review count that other service shoppers are going to look for. Again, thinking beyond a one-time blast here, you can also implement specific drip campaigns that are meant to keep new car buyers engaged with your service department. Now, what's nice about a drip campaign is that it can automatically be implemented to start the clock once a vehicle is marked as sold in your CRM. So, for example, 30 days after a car is purchased, the owner gets an email introducing them to the service department. Then 90 days later, they get an email with an oil change reminder and a coupon, and another one of those at 180 days. You can even schedule your drip campaigns out as far as you like, even estimating for milestone-related services like a 30,000 mile, 60,000 mile service. And now it takes a little bit of work up front, especially if you have a robust vehicle lineup that has like different timings. But you get these all set up at once, you get everything programmed, and then once that car is sold, boom, the clock starts, and then the drip kicks in, automated, and you don't have to think about it again. And then that way, every single new car customer, they're getting that regular communication that you don't have to think about, which is always nice. Another thing to consider, and this is getting a little deeper into the bag of tricks here, but a declined service offer email campaign. So you guys know, not every service you recommend a customer have, they're going to accept it, whether your customer can't afford it at the moment or they just don't feel it's important. Like, what do I need a timing belt for? That doesn't sound important. Said that before. You'll always have declined service opportunities. So instead of just shaking your head and be like, oh, well, we tried, right? Let's take it as a marketing opportunity. And you can segment those customers who've declined to have service performed, put them into their own campaign list, and then send them an email offer with a special incentive to get them back into the service drive. Coupons that provide percent or flat amount off a repair order tend to get the most engagement. So something like, 10% off 20 your next service visit, or 15% off 300, whatever, works the best for your dealership, however you want to do it. But don't just let them say no and then leave without you trying to get them back into the door. And then, of course, another way to keep all of your customers engaged is with a dedicated service email newsletter. And, most people appreciate relevant tips and tricks delivered regularly to their inbox. I know I do. And what's great about a service newsletter is since you'll be publishing regular new service contents on your website with your new SEO initiatives, you'll never have a shortage of relevant service content to send to your customers. Of course, you'll want to also include a coupon or two, but make your newsletter more about coupons so that it's more relevant to more of your customers. And remember, after somebody buys a car or services your vehicle, they really don't have a reason to come back to your website like 2 weeks later or a month later unless you give them one. So email is really one of the best ways to nurture that relationship, to keep your customers connected with your dealership and provide that ownership experiences that everyone is looking for. Because, you know, when it comes down to it, I think today with consumer behavior the way it is coming out of COVID, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to think too hard about anything. I'm still like living down the fact that I was a terrible school teacher to my children when they were stuck at home for 3 months. I just want people to make my life easy for a little while. And I think you guys have an ample opportunity to do that in the service department for your dealerships. And then we're going to close it out here with our last section. So I'm going to turn it back over to Lauren, where she'll show you that winning the click from your advertising, that's just half the battle. The other half is sticking with them across the internet, so your dealership and your brand is always top of mind. Lauren, are you there? Let's take it on home.
All right, we're going to conga our way through the end of this. I got you.
I'll conga.
So, you need an afternoon dance party. So, whether you have sales or service customers you already have a relationship with, or they've only engaged with an ad or your website, you want to stick by their side on all platforms and devices to use your make the most of your service department so that it is only a thumb tap away. And one of the best ways you can stick with your customers is to target them through Facebook. The targeting options you have for any of the ad campaigns is pretty comprehensive, but your highest converting audiences are going to be the people you already know and have some relationship with you. Pew, pew. Can you move to the next slide master? Pretty please. That's fine. Thank you. So for targeting this example oil change special ad, you could create a custom audience made up of some or all of the customers in your CRM. You could also target to your website visitors who visit your service-related pages like Mary Grace was just talking about. And while those are both high-quality audiences, you are limited by scale as you only have so many records in your CRM and so many visitors on your website. But with the tools you have available, we can take that data and make high-quality lookalike audiences to deliver the ad to people who are deemed in-market service buyers in your area. And speaking of in-market data, we have a unique partnership as an Oracle strategic partner, which provides audiences for the Facebook platform. These are extraordinarily granular audiences that can pinpoint highly specific potential customers of a variety of different sources. And with this kind of data, we can do some pretty amazing things. So for example, we can target offers for people who may have a specific make or model that's in need of recall service. Or maybe we have service specials tailored to a specific make or model. We have accessories, parts, again, all tailored to that make and model that we can find through these Oracle audiences. You can also run ads designed to seamlessly convert within Facebook Messenger with the chat agent experience taking place within conversations. With ads like these, you're able to skip a step and help the user convert right on Facebook. The experience is seamless. To dominate the service game, you need to be on every platform because there are searchers everywhere. They're searching on Google or Bing. They're watching videos on YouTube. They're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. They're everywhere, so you need to be everywhere. Combining refined audience targeting with video, your service department can make waves with your customers. On YouTube, we usually see cost per view of less than 20 cents per view. And on Facebook, even cheaper at less than 5 cents per view. That's a whole lot cheaper than standard television spots. And just another reason to streamline your campaigns across your platforms. And again, putting together that perfect fix ops puzzle. You got it.
Oh, I didn't even realize puzzle became a theme in this. Lauren, thanks for bringing that home. And thank you, everybody, for sticking around. As I was just reminded by my boss via chat, is that this is quickly becoming Fixed Ops, the movie. So it was a little bit of a longer webinar. We just made it over an hour mark, and I do appreciate everybody sticking around and asking those questions. Looks like they are all being addressed in the chat. So hope you guys were taking screenshots, taking notes. But just in case, let's just review one last thing before we say goodbye here. Remember, step 1, showcase your stars, build those service reviews so you look amazing online. Step 2, optimize your website, get your house in order and answer questions and convert. Step 3, dominate that SERP, strive for visibility in paid map pack and organic listings. Own the inbox, step up your email marketing beyond the blast, and win that mind share. Never let them forget who you are and what you do, because you do service. You do it good. And if there's anything we can help you out with, if you're a DI client and you want to talk more about any of this, just reach out to your performance manager, or you can see our contact information right up here on the slide. And just real quick, I'm going to turn my camera off, and I want everyone else to come back and say goodbye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your questions.
Yes, thank you so much. It was wonderful to get to see all of you virtually.
Thanks, team.
My camera wasn't on, but I was still waving.
You just have so much joy, Jason. It's great.
Thank you, guys. See you, everyone. And cut.